When resilience becomes a weapon against us, why Black women's economic survival is everyone's crisis. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that shook me to my core, something that changed the way I see economic justice, systemic inequality, and the stories we tell ourselves about who deserves to thrive. I had the privilege of sitting down with Tamika Giles, a fierce advocate, a truth teller, and someone who is making the world a better place by refusing to let the economic struggles of Black women be invisible or ignored. Tamika Giles is not just documenting what's happening, she's demanding that we see it, that we feel it, and that we do something about it. She's a warrior for equity, a voice for the voiceless, and a strategist who understands that data without action is just numbers on a page. What she shared with me, what the research reveals, what the data screams is this: the mass layoffs and job losses among Black women in 2025 are not accidents. They are not bad luck. They are not the result of market forces beyond our control. They are the direct outcome of systemic inequities and policy decisions that have rolled back hard won progress. Let me say that again because I need you to really hear this. The narrative we've been told, the one that frames these losses as individual setbacks, personal failures, or just unfortunate timing, is a lie. What we are witnessing is deeper, it is intentional. It is a disinvestment in the very sectors where Black women have historically found stability, dignity, and pathways to advancement. This is not just a story of personal adversity. This is a national economic crisis with ripple effects that impact entire communities and the broader economy. Now, I know some of you are listening and thinking, LeAnne, I've been laid off. I've been passed over. I've been undervalued. I know this already. And I hear you, sis. I see you. But here's what Tamika helped me understand in a way I hadn't fully grasped before. This isn't just about you losing your job. This is about a system that is actively dismantling the infrastructure that allowed Black women to build wealth, security, and futures for their families. And when we lose, when we are pushed out, when we are forced to start over, it's not just us who suffer. It's our children, it's our communities, it's the entire economy. Let me take you into the data because the numbers tell a story that we cannot ignore. In October 2025, the NAACP responded to a wave of layoffs that displaced over 300,000 Black women. 300,000. Let that sink in. 300,000 Black women, many of whom were concentrated in public sector and nonprofit jobs, lost their livelihoods. These were not entry level positions. These were careers. These were women who had climbed ladders, earned degrees, built reputations, and contributed to the stability of their families and communities. And in a matter of months, they were gone. The NAACP, in partnership with Talent Alley, hosted a virtual career fair to respond to this crisis. Over 1,350 people registered. 1,350 people, desperate for a lifeline, for a new opportunity, for a chance to rebuild. And while that career fair was a beautiful act of community care, while it demonstrated resilience and solidarity, it also reveals something heartbreaking: the urgent, overwhelming need for support. The fact that so many people showed up, that so many people were searching, tells us that the safety nets we thought existed, the pathways we thought were secure, have been pulled out from under us. And here's the thing: the backstory that makes this even more painful. For decades, public sector employment provided Black women with stability and pathways to wealth. Government jobs, nonprofit work, healthcare, education. These were the sectors where Black women could find not just employment, but advancement. These were the places where we could build careers, earn benefits, save for retirement, and invest in our children's futures. But policy changes and budget cuts have undermined those gains. The rollback of commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion, the dismantling of programs that once offered security, the federal workforce cuts, all of this has disproportionately impacted Black women. And it's not by accident. Now let's go deeper. The California Black Women's Collective Empowerment Institute documented the journey of Black women in California facing disproportionate layoffs and pay inequities in 2025. And what they found is staggering. Black women in California earned about $54,000 a year, while white men earned about 90,000. That's not a gap. That's a chasm. That's a systemic undervaluation of Black women's labor, expertise, and contributions. And when layoffs came, when budgets were cut, when companies decided who was expendable, Black women were overrepresented in the sectors hardest hit. But here's where it gets even more insidious. Black women face biased hiring systems, artificial intelligence resume screening that filtered them out before a human ever saw their qualifications, truncated interviews that didn't give them a fair chance to showcase their skills, a lack of advancement opportunities that kept them stuck in roles that didn't reflect their potential. And when the layoffs came, they were the first to go. So, what did they do? How did they respond? Because this is where the story shifts, where the heartache meets the agency, where the trauma meets the truth. Forbes surveyed over 200 Black women affected by layoffs in 2025. And what they found was both heartbreaking and inspiring. 59% of Black women surveyed started businesses or freelance work. 52% switched industries. 30% retrained or returned to school. And here's the part that breaks my heart and fills me with pride at the same time. They did this out of necessity, not choice. They did this because the systems that were supposed to support them, the jobs that were supposed to be there, the pathways that were supposed to be open were closed. So they built their own. And let me be clear, this is not a feel good story about resilience. This is not a narrative about Black women being so strong that they can overcome anything. Because here's the truth that Tamika and I talked about. And here's the truth that I need you to hear: resilience is not a solution. Systemic change is essential. Yes, Black women have shown remarkable ability to rebuild through entrepreneurship, retraining, and community support. Yes, they have demonstrated leadership, adaptability, and innovation in the face of adversity. But true progress requires addressing pay inequity, workplace discrimination, and lack of advancement opportunities at the structural level. We cannot keep asking Black women to be superheroes. We cannot keep expecting them to carry the weight of broken systems on their backs. We cannot keep celebrating their resilience while ignoring the conditions that make resilience necessary. Because here's what happens when we do that: we let the systems off the hook, we let the policies that created this crisis go unchallenged. We let the decision makers who rolled back progress escape accountability. And the impact, the real impact, this is not just individual, it's collective, it's national. When Black women lose jobs and income, it's not just individual families who suffer. Entire communities feel the impact. Billions of dollars are lost in potential growth. Public services are weakened. The national economy takes a hit because Black women are not just workers, they are breadwinners, they are caregivers, they are community leaders, they are the backbone of families, churches, neighborhoods, and entire industries. And when they are pushed out, when they are undervalued, when they are forced to start over, we all lose. The California Black Women's Collective Empowerment Institute didn't just document the problem, they fought back. They advocated for pay equity audits, transparency, anti discrimination protections, and investment in Black women entrepreneurs. Their research and advocacy brought national attention to the wage gap and the need for systemic change. They inspired new workforce development programs and empowered Black women to build new career paths. But they shouldn't have had to fight this hard. They shouldn't have had to prove that Black women deserve equal pay, fair hiring practices, and opportunities for advancement. These should be givens. These should be rights. These should be non negotiable. And yet, here we are in 2025, still fighting for the basics, still proving our worth, still rebuilding from scratch because the systems that were supposed to support us have failed. So here's the question I want to leave you with, the question that Tamika and I kept coming back to, the question that I need you to sit with. What role can you play in dismantling the systemic barriers that limit Black women's economic security? And how will you use your voice, your resources, or your influence to help build a more equitable future for all? Because here's the thing, and this is where we get to the heart of what Soft Girl Era is really about. Trauma is real, heartache exists. How you cultivate your experience matters. It's your life, your truth. And for Black women, for the women who have been laid off, passed over, undervalued, and forced to rebuild, the cultivation of that experience is not just about personal healing, it's about collective liberation. It's about refusing to accept a world that tells you to be resilient while it actively works against you. It's about demanding systemic change, not just individual survival. And so, as we close today, I want you to think about the women in your life, the Black women who have been your colleagues, your friends, your family members, the ones who've been laid off, who've been passed over, who have been undervalued. I want you to think about what it means to support them, not just with words of encouragement, but with action, with advocacy, with investment, with policy change, with the refusal to accept the status quo. Because the economic well being of Black women is not just a Black women's issue, it's a national imperative, it's a moral imperative, it's a call to action for all of us who believe in justice, equity, and the dignity of every human being. And if we don't answer that call, we don't do the work to dismantle the systems that have created this crisis, then we are complicit in the harm. So I'm asking you today, as you leave this space, as you go back into your life, your work, your community, to carry this question with you. What will you do? What will you change? What will you demand? Because the women who have been laid off, who have been forced to rebuild, who have been undervalued and overlooked, they are not waiting for permission. They are not waiting for validation. They are building businesses. They are switching industries. They are retraining. They are leading. And they are doing it with grace, with grit, and with a refusal to be erased. But they should not have to do it alone. They should not have to be resilient in the face of systems that are designed to fail them. They should not have to rebuild from scratch when the pathways to stability and advancement should have been there all along. And so the work is ours, the responsibility is ours, the change is ours to make. This is not a moment for passive sympathy. This is a moment for radical action. This is a moment to stand up and say, enough. Enough with the excuses. Enough with the empty promises. Enough with celebrating resilience while ignoring injustice. It's time to dismantle the systems that keep Black women fighting for scraps. It's time to invest in their brilliance, their leadership, their potential. It's time to build an economy that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. So here's my challenge to you: go back to your workplace and ask, are we paying Black women equitably? Are we promoting them fairly? Are we creating pathways for their advancement? Go back to your community and ask, how are we supporting Black women entrepreneurs? How are we advocating for policy change? How are we showing up when it matters most? Go back to your own life and ask, what am I willing to sacrifice, to risk, to fight for in order to create a more just world? Because this is not just about Black women. This is about all of us. This is about the kind of world we want to live in, the kind of economy we want to build, and the kind of future we want to create. And that future starts now. It starts with you, it starts with us, and it starts with a refusal to accept anything less than justice, equity, and the full humanity of every Black woman who has ever been told she is not enough. The question is not whether change is possible. The question is whether you are willing to be part of making it happen. So, what will it be? Will you stand on the sidelines, or will you step into the arena? Will you stay silent, or will you raise your voice? Will you accept the status quo, or will you fight for something better? The choice is yours. But know this: history is watching. And the women who have been laid off, who have been undervalued, who have been forced to rebuild, they are watching too. And they deserve more than our sympathy. They deserve our action. They deserve our commitment. They deserve a world where their brilliance is recognized, their labor is valued, and their futures are secure. So go forth, do the work, and remember, softness is not weakness. It's a radical act of self love. And justice is not optional, it's essential. The time for change is now, and it begins with you.